Welcome to WebSeriesOnFire.com, where talented filmmakers share their inspiring stories from concept to execution. And now, here is your host, Peter Papagiorgio.
Welcome to WebSeriesOnFire.com. I'm your host, Peter Papagiorgio, and I'm going to be sharing the stories and journeys of the creators of the hottest new web series in the entertainment industry. My guest today is an actress, a producer, and a writer, Summer Chastant, and she has a web series called Namaste Bitches. Summer, are you ready to ignite the entertainment industry with your web series?
I am, and I feel like it's already started. The fire has been brewing, so I'm very excited to talk to you today about it.
Cool. You want to give the audience kind of a quick glimpse of your personal life?
So,
where'd you go to school?
Yeah,
where'd you grow up?
I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and my background has really been in performing and acting and writing and really in classical text, studying Shakespeare and stuff like that. I also have a deep music background. I DJ'd for about a long time, we'll just say. And and then I taught yoga for almost a decade in New York, and I just thought it was such a great scene that there was a lot of stuff going on in the underbelly of the yoga world that I thought would make really entertaining, dark, comedic content. So I stopped teaching yoga in New York City and went back to my roots, which, are performing and writing. And I moved to LA and I created the show, Namaste Bitches.
How long have you been out in LA now?
It is 3 years now.
Okay. You want to give the audience, what's your web series about?
So it's funny. It's about the main character is a yoga teacher in New York who moves to LA.
I know, it's you. You play the lead. Yeah.
I play the main character.
Yeah.
It is loosely based on my life, but she moves to LA to kind of run away from what her past is in New York, which we don't really get into, but to start a new life and broaden her horizons and hit it big in the yoga scene in Hollywood. And she finds out that it's not what she had anticipated, more competitive than she thought. And it's more like I think everybody experiences in switching jobs or moving to a new market or coming into a really established, group of people or business that they're not familiar with. So it's like really breaking into a scene and how hard that can be. And
sure, you're basically out of your comfort zone at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the shadow up. Yeah.
I think you have 6 episodes done, right?
6 episodes of the first season. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so are you kind of gearing up towards the second season or not yet?
We have been on pause since we released the episodes. Actually, because I've been in works with moving it to television. So that is still going forward, but I am contemplating doing another season on the web in the meantime. I've just been throwing that idea around, because it does take a little bit of time to move to TV if that were to happen, God willing. But I want to keep creating the content, and the audience is really still with me, which is so lovely. And I'm so grateful for the audience, the huge base that we have. Actually, it's worldwide. I get reached out to by people all over the world.
That's nice. Well, basically what you're doing now is you're creating the proof of concept for the TV execs,
Yeah, and that's actually not why I did it. I did it out of the passion for the story. So it's nice when you start something with that intention that it leads to something broader that you hadn't anticipated,
Yeah, when it comes from the heart, then it's truthful and it definitely brings you to that place.
Yeah, I think people can feel that, and then it's relatable, definitely.
That's true. What inspired you to create the web series? Was it
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm saying, I know it's loosely based on what it, you had done and all that. Also, too, did people inspire you as you met them in the yoga world and all that? Were they totally kind of whacked out and really out there?
there's every type of person that does yoga. It's a $30 billion. I mean, wait, this is like last year I got that statistic. It's $30 billion a year industry. So, I mean, each year it keeps growing. Everybody at least knows somebody who practices yoga or who has done yoga if they themselves have not. I have used it since the age of 18. I think that's when I started practicing, and it's been such a important part of my life and learning about myself and learning about other people and how to relate to other people just by the practice. So it's given me so much that I kind of wanted to give back, but also hold a mirror up to the parts that are fallible, which, exist in any industry. And I thought that would be a really funny premise. And that's basically what I did.
It's totally untapped. I mean, like no one would even think about that.
Yeah.
What you just tapped into.
Right.
Because, I mean, I haven't done it, but I like my wife's friend Eden, she does it. And I would talk to her and she's just so peaceful and calm. Unlike me being from New York, it's like I said, Eden, I wish I could be as calm as you.
Well, yeah, go do some yoga, Peter. I know people say that to me all the time. They're like, you are so calm and peaceful. And I'm like, wow, I guess that's what I'm exuding, because inside my brain is just writing, more and more stories and coming up with more ideas. So
now, in the question, in response, in regards to ideas and all that, did you start writing stories? Did you just start writing scenes, scenarios?
Yeah, I just started writing I knew I wanted to do a web series. I had seen High Maintenance and Awkward Black Girl. And those
Broad City too, right?
Broad City, yeah. I'd seen Broad City, and those were really the ones that I looked up to. High Maintenance had just come out when I started writing, and I knew that I wanted to get something close to that level of production value, because they started out with a really high level of production value. I wanted to get somewhere close in that arena, and I wanted because they were, I think, the most recent out of, Awkward Black Girl and Broad City and High Maintenance. They were the last one to come out before I started. And so I was trying, because the internet, changes so much and everything's moving so fast, that I was just trying to kind of meet that criteria. And I definitely, to me, the writing and the story and performance were most important. Authenticity key, but because I have an acting background, it was really the performances that I wanted to feel authentic and not pushed and just conversational and awkward, and
you definitely
and I
captured that, because when I watched the first 2 episodes, and you definitely got that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I also met people. I moved to LA basically knowing not anybody, and I met people that I really liked. Some of them were teachers and some of them were actors, but they all had acting backgrounds, but I started writing specifically for some people, and so I would write for their alter egos, and that worked really, really, really well.
Okay. And then you basically just cast them in it.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's, write what you know and write who you know.
Yeah, definitely. And these are versions of people that I had known, through the years of yoga, and some of them are compiled versions, and every character is a part of myself and my own, experience. So,
I mean, I definitely could see you had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, it was a blast.
It's there, it's like it comes across.
Thank you.
Did you have any obstacles when you were shooting? I mean, was this totally guerrilla filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, it was, to be honest, it was. We did a Kickstarter to raise the money for it, and I really relied on my built-in student base that I had in New York just to be my first test audience. And they were so supportive. I was kind of afraid of how it would come across if people would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing my teacher in this thing, do this other thing and do bad things as this character, And everybody was super, super, super supportive. And it was great to have that first push with that initial audience that I already had, and then it just went out from there, like through the grapevine, very, very grassroots. We also used a friend's studio, Hollywood Power Yoga, and we had to shoot all the episodes out of order. I think we shot the last scene, or the last episode. The first scene of the last episode was one of the first things that we shot.
That you shot, right?
Yeah.
Did you?
So it's fun when you don't have any money.
I know. Did you have any situations where you lost locations like last minute and you had to scramble?
Yeah, we scrambled a couple times, definitely. Yeah. And we were also working with like a running yoga studios class schedule. So we would have to shoot really early in the morning before class, or in between classes. So we would have to like take the equipment out, then come back in, or shoot like late and at night, and then try to light it like it was daytime. So that's a lot of fun.
That's a pain. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did anyone like involved in yoga, like when they knew you were doing this, and since it had that comedic dark side to it, did they get mad at you? Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Nobody got mad at me. I remember during one of the
or offended or something.
Offended. Well, I had somebody actually just yesterday ask me about the series. I'd run into them in a yoga studio. And I don't know them very well, but they asked me about the series, and they were like, is that supposed to be a satire? And I was like, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think, if you're taking it too seriously, and then, you can't enjoy the fun of it. But, that's not my approach to life at all. And, definitely not to the yoga practice. So I was actually shocked at people that I thought might be offended, and totally surprised me and weren't.
And they actually liked it, and they embraced it and all that.
Yes. I think people really gravitate to the unveiling of like what is behind the curtain, what's behind the shiny, glossy image,
That's true, yeah. I mean, let's face it, we're all people, so, so there's always going to be that dark side coming out of people,
Yeah.
Especially when it gets competitive and things like that. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes. Yes.
What kind of camera did you guys use?
We used the Canon 5D.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cameras, yeah.
Yeah. So we used that. And
your audio was basically, we had a sound guy and all that?
Yeah, we had a sound guy with a boom, a couple lavs. And then most of our crew, the majority of our crew were women. So it was a very female-driven piece. My director, so I really liked working in that fashion because, in Hollywood, there's an underuse of women in the industry. So I'm really proud of that aspect. And also, we, we're very green on set and sticking to yogic principles. We did a lot of vegan and vegetarian dishes. I am not myself vegan or vegetarian, but we kind of wanted to just infuse the space with good, healthy, clean energy.
Yeah, exactly. Did you? Is there like any advice you'd like to give people out there in regards to wanting to make a web series? Like any pitfalls they should avoid, or from your experience?
Wow, it's so funny. I get asked this question and people, email me and ask me things all the time, and I'm so happy to give advice, and I learned so much through this process. The one thing that I would say is really start promoting early And
So when you
and
in regards even before like you shoot your first episode or when you're in
I
pre-production?
will tell you, but like as I was writing, I had business cards made, and I was going out and networking and handing out these little Namaste Bitches cards to people. And my friends were like, "You're insane! You don't even have a web series yet."
Or even did you have a website at least?
I think I had the website at that point. Yeah, I just had the URL. Just said that there was a series coming. I probably had like I knew I had coined the log line underbelly of the yoga world. So I knew I had that, and that was catchy. And so it was just like, I remember like I was just going to any event and talking about my upcoming series. I remember being like, it's going to be like, it's going to be like a web series, like high maintenance. And my friends were like, oh my gosh, you have balls. So I think
but then again, that forced you.
It totally did.
You had to do it, otherwise you're going to lose face.
Yes, exactly. So I say set really firm goals and hold yourself accountable and do it and take risks. That's the best thing that's the best advice that I can give people, I think. And really follow through with it, because there's so many times where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it through. It's like, it can be really frustrating. People drop out, people have other gigs. And it's hard to keep momentum, but even if you need to take a couple months, take a break, come back and finish it out.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want as we wrap up, you want to tell the audience what your next plan is in regards to Namaste Bitches? Love the title.
Thank you. Look for definitely more content either on a larger platform or I think that's where we're ultimately headed. But there might be more content coming out still online. I'm gonna kind of figure that out in the next couple of weeks.
So do you have the episodes written or what?
For the next season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them pretty fleshed out. I have a director I'm thinking of, and yeah, so and now that I have done it once, I'm really excited. I'd be really excited just to run through doing another season again, because I just did a short film in the interim while I was working on developing it for television, and it's nice as an artist to feel like the practice has actually paid off, and you learn how to move and work faster and more efficiently. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you found that with whatever you do. So
yeah, it's true. And you're creating. By creating your own content, people are now coming to you instead of you waiting for that phone to ring.
Oh no, people hit me up all the time, which is so nice.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great going from not knowing anybody in LA 3 years ago to like having a network and people who I look up. I've worked with in this past year. I've worked with my idols. I've met my idols. I've worked with my idols.
So, do you want to say who they are? Or?
Blessed. Big filmmaker people who I just looked up to as a little kid, and okay. So maybe one day it'll come out, but I just feel really grateful, and I know so many people who have seen my work, and so many people who actually just stop and say hi on the street and say, I recognize you from Namaste Bitches. It's cool. It's cool.
Well, sorry, I'm just laughing because I just love the title.
Thank you.
Do you want to give the audience your contact information?
Anybody can contact me. I am directly affiliated to the website NamasteBitchesTheSeries.com. I am the one who gets all of the emails when you comment on there, and it goes directly to me. So you can go to the contact section. And also I wanted to say you can follow at NamBitches on Twitter and at NamBitches on Instagram. We do post there. And then we have a Facebook page for Namaste Bitches, and you'll see our same little logo, which is the yoga mat with Namaste Bitches on it, the pink yoga mat.
Cool. Well, good luck with everything, Summer.
Thank you so much, Peter. It was so great talking to you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you. Well, that wraps up webseriesonfire.com. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please email me at webseriesonfire@gmail.com. Please like us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to webseriesonfire.com with your host, Peter Papagiorgio. We'll catch you next time.